Welcome to all the folks who decided to join us here on this wonderful day. I'm Lewis,
And I'm Kevin.
and welcome to
Good critic, bad critic.
There's no director quite like Robert Rodriguez. He started off as an unknown independent filmmaker who quickly became one of the most well-known names in the film business.
He has made quite some amazing films, like Sin City, El Mariachi, and even Desperado. For once, I'm actually interested in reviewing one of his films.
Indeed, and that film was Spy Kids.
Are you kidding me? Out of all the refined, interesting, and violent films he has made, you decided to pick one of his kids' films?
Well, while he has made some very mature films, when Spy Kids was released in 2001, it became a massive commercial success, and it made the director as popular as he is now.
Fine, but next time, I get to pick the film we get to review.
Alright.
I'm also gonna need a punching bag for this.
Aw, I guess you really miss me, huh?
Oh, of course I do, buddy.
Alright, let's begin. We begin the film by showing an establishing shot of the area that our characters live in, all the while accompanied by the amazing score. Oh, Kevin, you're liking the soundtrack already?
Hey, fuck you, man. Leave me alone.
Love you too, man. After getting a taste of the amazing soundtrack, we're introduced to our main characters, Carmen and Junie, as their mother gets them ready for bed. However, Carmen asks her to retell the story of the two spies that fell in love, which smoothly transitions us to the flashback.
Hey, wait!
What?
This film was made by a Spanish director, right? Therefore, he has a lot of Spanish influence in this movie. It only seems appropriate that we make the review in Spanish.
Dude, you know how annoying that's going to be in post?
En esta escena retrospectiva,
Ay, Dios mío.
la película nos muestra cómo los padres de Carmen y Juni se conocieron. Eran superespías que fueron asignados para asesinarse mutuamente por ser rivales internacionales, pero terminó siendo una relación amorosa. Salieron en citas, su amor creció y decidieron casarse. En el día de la boda, los respectivos países de cada uno de ellos interrumpen la boda para hacer asesinarlo, pero terminan escapando en paracaídas de corazón, que suena increíblemente ridículo ahora que lo digo, y terminan retirándose con hijos. Después, Carmen se queja de que el desenlace no es interesante, y Juni se queja de que no tiene monstruos. Okay, I'm switching back, this is gonna get annoying.
Yeah, exactly what I thought. After getting the kids to sleep, the mother, named Ingrid, goes to her room where her husband, Gregorio, is doing some work. They transform their areas into some pretty awesome spy tech, and while they are working, they talk about their kids' struggles in school. This scene establishes the relationship between the parents and sets up the main arc for the character.
The next day, the kids get ready for school by doing an obstacle course, which is kinda weird. On the ride to school, not only it develops Carmen and Juni's relationship, it establishes the antagonist, Floop, and how he might be connected to Gregorio's investigation of some missing fellow spies. Jesus Christ, that is so much stuff for one quick scene. Oh, not to mention, this family is very dysfunctional.
Well, maybe flawed at best.
The Corteses arrive at school, and Gregorio reminds Juni the importance of his family heritage. Gregorio notices that his son is being bullied and he tries to intervene, but the bully's father stops him. He shows him who's boss by unrealistically throwing him through a window. All the kids in the school begin to praise him, including his son, who rushes to hug him, and they are both happy. This is a dream sequence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mother!
After the parents leave, we get another look at Carmen's annoyance of taking care of Junie, and how Junie feels like there's nothing special about his family. He wants to be with his TV idol, Floop. This is a nice little moment that perfectly leads into the introduction of a villain, Floop, who is revealed to be working with some very bad people who want to use his genius mind to create an army for them. However, Floop is far more interested in his kids show than world domination. He does have an idea in the form of robotic kids, which sounds silly at first until they turn out to be fighting machines capable of replicating all the kids in the world, including the ones from important world leaders. This is an amazing demonstration of our villain's personality and skill. The performance of Alan Cumming makes Floop such an enjoyable villain to watch.
Into tiny packages I call Spy Kids.
Wait, the Spy Kids are the robots, not Carmen and Juni? Guys, the movie lied to us. It lied to us. Yep, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. We're done here.
No. Cut the music. We still gotta finish the review.
Fine.
The one downside to these creations is that they lack a proper brain, and Floop only has 2 days to perfect the models, otherwise he'll lose his whole empire. It's a good motivation for Floop's villainous actions in the movie. Ingrid comes in to see her husband preparing to go on a mission to rescue the agents kidnapped by Floop. He tries to go at it alone, but after some flirting by Ingrid, he decides to let her join. Lucky for them, Uncle Felix arrives to look after the kids while they're gone. They are given coordinates by Miss Grandico that leads them into the ocean.
Okay, how the hell is this spy gear believable?
They do use advanced technology, so I can't believe they could make something like this.
But turning a family SUV into a submarine. What about the engine? How the hell do they have oxygen in there?
Well, they do have the windows up.
Shut up!
They continue their search until Floop comes on their screen as they walk into a trap, leading to a ship that captures them on sight. Back to the kids, their breakfast gets interrupted when an alert is heard throughout the house. Even the TV shows it. Uncle Felix springs into action, revealing that he isn't their real uncle and that their parents are spies, taking the kids to a safe room. The thumbs break into the place, forcing Felix to fight them back. Carmen and Judy finds a secret entrance that leads them to an underwater vehicle. Felix tells them to leave before getting captured, and the kids get out of there. This leads to a thrilling chase between them and the thumbs.
Honestly, the thumbs are the least of their problems. Their rivalry almost gets them killed.
Judy, what are you doing down there?
How the f is this skid still holding on to the vehicle with no real grip and going at full speed?
The kids manage to escape and make it to a safe house.
Once the kids enter the safe house, they explore for a bit, finding cabinets that magically get food, money from all over the world, jetpacks, and a McDonald's product placement. They also try to have an intimate moment between Carmen and Junie. We then cut to Ingrid and Gregorio trying to escape. As they make their way out, they encounter a false pitfall that seems kinda pointless, in a virtual room that has an actual pitfall that takes them to Floop. Honestly, I don't even know how that works. While they have dinner with the bad guy, Floop threatens to harm Junie and Carmen, which makes Gregorio snap.
I snap my fingers, and my fingers snap you.
Wait, so you're telling me that the whole existence of the thumb robots is to make that stupid pun? Floop mentions that he wants something from Gregorio, threatening him with Felix by turning him into one of his characters. However, he refuses and they're imprisoned. We then come back to the kids who now decide to become spies. Okay. They test out equipment, reminding us again how much they hate each other and show how much of an idiot Junie is. They get a surprise visit from Miss Generic Woman, who tells them that Floop is the bad guy, cannot be trusted, and is after the third brain, which Junie finds in the most idiotic way possible. Miss Generic Woman takes it, but they realize that she's working for Floop.
This leads to a very entertaining action scene as the kids try to get the brain from the henchman while avoiding getting captured. Carmen uses a jetpack in the film's most popular action sequence. It is very fast-paced, energetic, a ton of fun to watch, and is helped out by the amazing score. Even Kevin is digging this.
Hey, leave me alone, man! Junie tries to help out, but he's very clumsy in his effort. He tries to get the last jetpack, but accidentally turns it on, and ends up hitting Miss Generic Woman, burning off her hair. Carmen then comes back for her brother, and they escape into the city, continuing to drive the point home that these two hate each other. They evade the thumbs by going to a clothes shop, and setting the jetpack in a rack of clothes as a decoy. Then they shoplift the place while nobody notices this, and they head out in a trolley.
Floop is filming a very weird looking song for his show. However, he feels dissatisfied, thinking that something is missing. He tells this to Minion, that's his actual name, who tries to encourage Floop to focus on their plans, but it's made very clear that Floop doesn't care about being the villain. It's an added layer that you wouldn't expect from this type of character. Junie and Carmen stop by a park where Carmen is examining some gadgets that hint at a future character. Junie tries to destroy the third brain, believing that's what their parents would have done. Carmen stops him, telling him to keep it. Junie points out how the bracelet that Ms. Grandicove gave is a tracker, which causes Carmen to leave and discover that Junie is right. They are then attacked by robots sent by Floop that look exactly like them. They beat our heroes and steal back the third brain. Luckily, Junie stole one of their collars, which gives them a better idea of Floop's plan. Back in their cells, Gregorio goes into the backstory of the third brain and how it would have been a dangerous asset in the wrong hands. Their attempts to destroy it proved useless, so Gregorio stole the brain and instead destroyed a walnut.
A walnut? What? That would even fool this guy! The kids arrive at Machete's spy shop and meet the man himself, Machete, who has made all the spy gear we have seen in this movie. Wait, you're telling me he makes sophisticated spy gear and has a public shop? How does that even make any sense? Either people think he's crazy or that this is all one elaborate prank. And if people do try to buy gear from him, does he actually sell it?
Well, what's more important is that it's revealed that he wasn't just their father's best man, but his brother, who he refuses to talk about due to personal issues. Back at Floop's castle, Floop tells Minion that he never wanted to rule the world and that he just wants to focus on his show. Minion then betrays Floop once he has the brain in his possession, sending him to the virtual room.
Back to Machete's shop, Carmen and Junie ask him for help in rescuing their parents. We also see more of Machete's questionable inventions. He shows them a plane that could help them get to Floop's castle. Honestly, I don't get Machete, cause we are shown scenes of him feeding them and giving them a place to stay, but still refusing to help their parents.
I actually believe this was done on purpose. Machete and Gregorio's troubled relationship is meant to parallel that of Junie and Carmen, showing what could happen to the two if they don't resolve their personal problems. This helps explain why Machete still cares for the kids, but is hesitant about helping his brother, because despite what he says, they're still his family.
Alright, but decide if you want to help or not this drastic back and forth bullshit. Later they wake up in the middle of the night to steal some spy gear, Floop's castle map, and the plane. Machete tries to stop them, but somehow he's happy for all of this. On their way to the castle, they fight once more, which leads them crash landing into the castle. Okay, that's it, I'm sick of it. These two characters have been mostly one-dimensional with their interactions and their actions. Carmen comes off as the character with the typical spy mindset, and Junie is that one dumb comic relief character that somehow is secretly intelligent. This makes them quite annoying to follow as leads, and I'd much rather listen to the side characters.
I see your issues, but the writing does help a bit. While not hilarious, the moment of humor these two have are quite endearing, and help sell the idea that they are siblings, making every scene they argue come off as natural, like actual arguments between brothers and sisters.
The writing is okay at best. I don't love it, I don't hate it, but it could have been better.
Minion is shown replicating the brain and installing them into the robot children. Junie and Cartman sneak into the castle, using their various gadgets to incapacitate the thumbs and get information from the Fooglies.
Okay, what the f*** is up with all this weird spy tech? Makeup and word desks that transform into computers, gum and bubbles that shock, and an SUV that turns into a submarine. These gadgets have silly premises for their designs and seem impossible to work in the real world. Who in the creative team for this movie thought this was a good idea?
So what, you want the kids to use silencers and bombs to kill the villains?
Yeah, but they just had to keep the PG rating, huh?
Carmen and Junie try to sneak past the robotic kids by blending in with them, but realize that they are much smarter than last time. They run away and are separated as Carmen falls into the pit that their parents encountered, and Junie hides in the virtual room where he encounters Floop. The parents find themselves strapped into some chairs, where it's revealed that Minion worked on the third brain alongside Gregorio, but he was fired because he acted suspicious. Minion gets his revenge on Gregorio by turning him into one of the Fooglies, which, when I think about it, is a horrifying fate to end up in. Carmen falls into a room where they create the my eyes! Moving on from that nightmare fuel, Miss Grandico is reintroduced now with a new haircut, and we cut back to Junie as he becomes a literal therapist to Floop, encouraging him to stand up to Minion, and answers Floop's biggest question: what did his show need?
It needs children.
It's a nice resolution to Floop's and Junie's arc as he gets to help his idol and solidify his redemption. While the two head into the main computer, Junie runs into one of the thumbs, who turns out to be Carmen.
Hola.
A la puta con esto. Yo me voy. Oh yeah. I can't go out. The kids meet up with their parents. We see Gregorio as an ugly-ass Foogly, and Carmen breaks angry free with another fantastic Machete product. Floop turns Gregorio back to normal, Minion sits on Floop's impractical chair, and greets Mr. Lips, who is anticipating his new army. However, Floop calls Minion to fix an issue with the robot. He heads to the transformation room and is encountered by Junie, who was replicating Floop's voice. Oh yeah, did we forget to mention that? He can replicate anyone's voice. Yeah, it's really stupid, and it's never explained, so let's move on. Gregorio and Ingrid capture Minion and they strap him to the chair that they were placed in earlier. They place the helmet on him and tell him not to let go of the transformation button. But Minion just does not care and does it anyway. On their way to the computer room, the parents get captured again by the duplicates. The rest arrive to the computer room and find out. They figure out a way to reprogram the robotic kids.
A binary switch, of course. So they would define right as wrong.
And wrong is right.
Kevin, do you think that could actually work?
Well, assuming that all the kids have the exact same line of code, it would make sense that they could override it with an additional code or override it with some junk code. And even if all the kids have a unique line of code, overriding it with 2 words could cause it to fail, malfunction, or backfire. Therefore, regardless of what they do, it would actually work.
Huh. Well, plot hole averted.
Minion meets up with Mr. Lift with his new, oh my god, that is creepy. We cut back to the kids seeing their parents captured, being taken away, and encountering their clones again. The fight itself isn't that impressive and kinda boring. Top that off with some questionable writing decisions. Eventually, they defeat them and head off. The parents conveniently fall to where the bad guys are and are quickly joined by their kids. The robots finally arrive and the Cortezes prepare for the fight of their lives. Against kids. Okay. They decide on taking 100 each, but there's 500 in total, so they need one more. Jesus Christ! Oh, of course it's this guy.
Machete joins to help them, proving that he really does care. Both them and the robots pose for action, but Floop manages to successfully reprogram them to go after the bad guys. Gregorio and Machete meet up and resolve their personal issues.
Emotional. Latinos.
You know what? They're right.
Floop returns and compliments Junie for his efforts. Junie and Carmen go to their parents, telling them they are all spies. This is a satisfying and heartwarming conclusion to the Cortez family story arc. We fast forward some time later, where things seem to go back to normal in the Cortez household. Floop uses the newly programmed children to help out the community.
And somehow nobody questions this, even though some of those robots look like the kids of famous people.
Listen, if I was a kid and I saw myself as a robotic superhero, I wouldn't complain.
Sure, whatever.
However, things are not as they seem, as the family gets a video call from the leader of the OSS, requesting help from the kids for a mission, but they object, saying they would only help if their parents come, as they're now a family of spies, ending the film on a sweet note. That was Spy Kids, and didn't deserve to be one of Robert Rodriguez's most famous films.
Compared to his other films, this is definitely a weird film in his filmography. Carmen and Junie were very annoying to follow with the repetitive sibling dynamic. The concept, the narrative, the characters, and the gear are way too childish for a spy film. The writing is okay at best, but can get annoying at points, and the effects are noticeably outdated. But to be honest, I kinda enjoyed it. It's a 6 out of 10 for me.
This was a blast to watch. The film is packed with charm, the writing is simple but very lighthearted, the villain is entertaining, the side characters are interesting to learn about, the action could get quite intense, the soundtrack is fantastic, and the core message of family is very sweet. This is one memorable and fun kids film. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Boy, I want to slap you so bad. Oh, wait. Close enough.
So that will conclude our review of Spy Kids. If you share any different opinion from ours, please share them in the comments below. If you liked the video, maybe give us a thumbs up.
And hey, if you guys really didn't like it, there's always a thumbs down option.
If you guys want to be notified of future videos, please click the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Aside from that, I just hope you all have a wonderful
Or terrible
rest of your day.
Alright, Lewis, a deal is a deal. I get to pick the next movie.
Fine. Could you please not pick a film that will be difficult for me to review?
It's a horror movie.
Ay, Dios ayúdame.
Yo, could you imagine that this is what happened to George Clooney's Batman after he retired as Batman?
Well, it would have fit the tone of those movies.
Oh my god, he went from a detective to a spy. Quite a way to turn your life around, huh?
A little better role for George Clooney than Batman.
Facts.